saw this coming, that Mr. Drew Jenkins was going to be unable to get Deshawn to his mom. It was court ordered basically for Drew Jenkins to take his son to go see his mom, right? We all know this. Desiree was awarded visitation through a judge, and it was just really highly encouraged. And guess who did not show up? This is according to Rights and Rights. I think she's like an advocate, really working with Desiree, who is Deshawn's mom, to basically have some kind of reunification plan set in place. And ever since this missed meeting, Desiree's, I think, GoFundMe has shot up to over $5,000 very quickly. I'm so looking forward to seeing what's the reason that Deshawn missed his meeting with his mom. And again, it's not Deshawn who has to get in his car and drive there. It is the responsibility of dad. And I use that term very loosely because Drew Jenkins has been a father in just the biological sense. I mean, he's not really doing much for his kids. He is just making them.
I guess making the kids eat ramen and spam was more important than letting Deshawn go for his court-ordered visitations. Stop trying to spin the narrative that Desiree is the villain here. Metheny and No W to Drew have no right to keep him away. Instead of letting him reunite with people who can provide additional support, they still have Deshawn trapped in that stinky little room with 7 people and flies zooming around. The only videos from Metheny has been her cooking, which is always so random. The ramen looks so overcooked as well. I'll say it again, cooking for the kids doesn't mean you're doing a good job. Putting all your effort into making food and nothing else is goofy since y'all been homeless going on 3 months now. Instead of spending hours cooking and cleaning, y'all should fill out some applications on Zillow and Indeed. And maybe stop trying to cook Asian and Mexican food. These ain't no POC want their food to be associated with this mess. Her recipes are always goofy, never authentic.
Oh, Stephanie Jenkins, or should we say Resilient Jenkins, since she loves that nickname, is finally admitting what everyone else saw from day one. Living in a single motel room with 5 kids wasn't some bold, empowering life hack. It was a disaster waiting to happen. And surprise, it did. For months, she doubled down whenever people questioned her, acting like critics just didn't get her vision. Cozy, safe. Please, there's nothing cozy about cramming a whole family into a space meant for temporary stays, especially when she was paying weekly motel rates that probably added up to more than rent would have been. But of course, she insisted she had it all under control, until suddenly, she didn't. Now, in true Stephanie fashion, she's backpedaling on YouTube, the same hobby channel she swore wasn't a big deal, even though she's constantly posting her life online. She's finally admitting the motel life is unsustainable, shocking, and that the costs are out of hand. But instead of just owning up to poor planning, she tried to spin it with that hilarious comment about months with 4 full weeks being hard on her budget. Ma'am, every month has 4 weeks. Did she think February was out here scamming her? It's either a bizarre attempt to sound deep or just another way to avoid saying, yeah, I messed up. And let's be real, this whole situation reeks of someone who thought she could outsmart basic logic. Motels aren't designed for long-term family living, and no amount of TikTok positivity could change that. Now that reality's hitting, she's scrambling for an apartment like she should have done months ago. But hey, at least she's finally admitting it. Sort of. Just don't hold your breath waiting for a full, you were right, to the people who called this from the start.
I swear if this girl does not explain, I am about to lose it. Literally, I keep looking on Resilient Jenkins' page thinking there's going to be some update. This is a very public issue. Everybody is trying to figure out, did Deshawn go see his mom, etc. Or Deshawn, I'm sorry if I mispronounced that. Anyway, we're all trying to follow it. And this girl, I mean, you posting cleaning, cooking, talking about, oh, we eat at this time. Nobody fucking cares about when you're eating. They don't care that you're sweeping up every single day 3 to 5 times. I don't care. I want to know what's going on and why you're talking about cooking and cleaning when everybody, I mean, she's dropping hints about a million other things going against court order, so she can explain, okay? Explain it.
So now Stephanie wants to talk about money? That's rich, literally. For months, she acted like the motel life was some genius parenting move, brushing off anyone who dared ask how much it was costing her. It's safer. It's better for the kids. Sure, Jan, but suddenly when the bills start hitting different, she's singing a whole new tune. The thing is, she never mentioned the actual cost before, probably because she wasn't the one footing the bill. That motel isn't just some random spot she picked, it's tied to a housing assistance program for families on the brink of homelessness. And guess what? Those programs usually cover the stay, unless you start making real money. And what's Stephanie been doing? Treating YouTube like her 9 to 5, churning out monetized videos while her TikTok acts as one big ad for her channel. YouTube pays way more than TikTok ever could, so if she's suddenly stressing about motel costs, it's probably because the program caught wind of her hustle and said, "Okay sis, time to pay your own way." It's just funny how she spun this whole thing as some intentional lifestyle choice, like she was pioneering minimalist living or something. But now that the free ride might be drying up, she's scrambling to reframe it as some financial burden she's bravely enduring. Like, no. This wasn't the plan all along. The plan was to milk the system as long as possible while building her social media career on the side. And now that the jig might be up, she's finally forced to admit what everyone else already knew. Living in a motel with 5 kids was never sustainable, and the only reason it seemed to work was because someone else was paying for it. But, of course, she won't say that outright. Instead, we get vague complaints about 4-week months and sudden budget struggles. Convenient timing, don't you think? Almost like the second she had to start paying her own way, the fantasy fell apart. Who could have seen that coming? Oh, right. Everyone.
hotel that we currently stay at has an extended stay policy where you stay for more than 28 days. You have to go stay at another one of their locations for a night. Did y'all just catch my baby? He always be giving me back kisses. I think it's just the sweetest thing and I had to mention it. Anyways, let's get back to it. So the manager of the place that we're staying at let us know, hey, you guys need to pop over to the other place for a night. Bring it on us kind of last minute if I do say so myself, but hey, we getting kind of good at this time. I didn't forget the toothbrushes. That was like the first thing I grabbed because I did forget them last time and I deeply regretted that. Made sure to grab our Gobi lights, and yes, that's important, especially for our kiddo on the spectrum. It's actually the first thing we set up when we got to the other spot. We made sure to get that red light going. Immediately calmed all of the kids' auras. Also, Lord knows y'all like to troll on everything you can. You slow down the video to catch whatever you possibly can. So yes, the PS5 is in there. And guess what it got used for? Miss Rachel. More or less everything we grab is to make sure the kids are comfortable wherever we're at. Try to make sure we can create some kind of family-like environment wherever the freak we go, and we create resilience. And if you can't stand that, get up.
Now that Stephanie has to cover the costs herself, she's starting to realize what everyone else pointed out months ago. The motel didn't magically become a bad deal overnight. It's always been a financial mess. The only difference is that now she's personally feeling the financial strain. What's more surprising is how she's suddenly talking about how her kids need more space and a stable living environment. She's saying she wants to move them into an apartment so they can be more comfortable. But wait, didn't she just finish telling the internet not too long ago that their one-room motel life was completely fine? Not just fine, actually. She was adamant about it. She defended it over and over again, describing it as safer, cozier, and better than their old place. She said it was a deliberate decision the whole family agreed on. She looked right into the camera and told people with confidence that they were happy where they were. At one point, she even claimed she didn't want to go back to living in an apartment because it came with too much drama. That message was pushed repeatedly, as if critics simply didn't understand how well her family was doing. And now, without warning, she's bringing up things like bankruptcies and past evictions as reasons she's struggling to qualify for new housing. So, which is it? Was motel life really the plan all along? Or was it just the only option she had and she didn't want to admit it? Let's rewind for a second. When people pleaded with her to find something more stable for the sake of her kids, she flat out rejected the idea. She insisted that a home wasn't about square footage. It was about love and togetherness. She downplayed the need for space and kept repeating how close and bonded her children were. Meanwhile, she was spending money on fancy kitchen gadgets, going live almost every day, and posting videos of hauls and lifestyle upgrades that didn't seem necessary. Her choices seemed more about building an online brand than providing actual stability. And now, all of a sudden, it's too stressful. Now she's tired and overwhelmed and says she just wants a peaceful life. But this doesn't feel like a simple change of heart. The timing feels suspicious. There's legal pressure in play now. Deshawn's biological mother has entered the picture, offering a more secure home for him. And Stephanie knows, as does everyone else, that when the courts get involved, everything changes. Judges don't just listen to emotional appeals. They look at hard facts. They evaluate living conditions. They consider the physical and emotional well-being of the children. And right now, none of those things are working in Stephanie's favor.
They're the resilient rage baiters from now on. From now on. For everyone. Just how? What? You're really gonna sit there and post a cooking video and the only kid in it is the one kid you're not supposed to be showing? Oh, but he only showed his arms. You're literally not supposed to be showing him. What part of that do you not understand? You're really gonna post that after doing what you did yesterday? And he's really gonna sit there and post a new game controller that's like $170? You guys are ridiculous. Like, I'm so glad that you think this is so funny, because guess who isn't gonna find it funny? The judge. Good luck.
Stephanie and Drew's sudden growth isn't some organic transformation, it's damage control. The court doesn't care about their viral moments or carefully curated sob stories. They care about cold, hard facts. And the fact is, this family's living situation has been a ticking time bomb from the start. Now that legal pressure is mounting, Stephanie's scrambling to rewrite the narrative, framing herself as a selfless mother finally realizing her kids need stability. But let's be honest, if the courts weren't involved, would she actually be making these changes? Or would she still be filming day-in-the-life vlogs from that motel room, spinning their chaos as some kind of minimalist parenting flex? And Drew, his miraculous recovery is almost comical. For years, he dodged responsibility with a laundry list of health issues, seizures, heart problems, chronic pain, yet somehow the second a judge gave him an ultimatum, he was well enough to start door dashing. Funny how that works. No more dramatic TikTok rants about his ailments, no more couch-bound live streams, just sudden, convenient employability. It's almost like the threat of legal consequences was the best medicine he could have gotten. The real tragedy here is that it took this long for reality to sink in. People have been pointing out the red flags for ages. The instability, the financial recklessness, the exploitation of the kids for content. But Stephanie and Drew dismissed every critique, doubling down on their chaotic lifestyle while mocking anyone who dared question them. Now, with custody battles and court orders looming, they're performing like they've seen the light. But let's not confuse desperation with growth. And the worst part, even now, their wake-up call is being monetized. Stephanie isn't quietly securing a better life for her kids. She's turning their struggles into a storyline. Emotional confessionals, dramatic updates, tearful promises, all perfectly packaged for maximum engagement. It's not about fixing things, it's about rebranding. Because at the end of the day, their priority isn't stability, it's the appearance of stability, just in time for the courts and the algorithm to take notice. So, sure, they might finally be making changes. But let's not pretend this is some heartfelt transformation. It's survival mode. Nothing more. And if the legal pressure lets up, don't be surprised if the old habits come creeping right back.
He's not just some man that sits on his ass and does nothing for his family. We've taken the steps we've taken, self-employment. Housing is an immediate need, but it's also something that we need to plan for not just his health, but my health included. I don't shave my pits, and my husband has this, that, and that, and he'll still go to work. So we're officially 2 weeks into being homeless. Guess what? That's your decision. And living in a motel as a family of 7. If I keep pushing my body this, that, and the third way, I'm gonna cut 10 years off my life. So I've watched this like 80 times trying to figure out where the spider came. And the same for my man. We're not gonna do that. We're gonna take the steps to worry about our health as long as we possibly can. And I don't care if that bothers you. Stay another night at a different motel room again. If you've been following us for a while, you may know we are a family of 7 that is currently homeless living in a motel room. The motel that we currently stay at has an extended stay policy where you stay for more than 28 days. You have to go stay at another one of their locations. I just don't.
The sudden transformation of Drew Jenkins from chronically ill gamer to upstanding delivery driver would be almost impressive if it weren't so transparently calculated. For years, this man built his entire online persona around being too medically fragile to hold down a job, seizures, heart conditions, debilitating back pain, yet somehow the second a judge threatened consequences, Every single one of those conditions mysteriously stabilized enough for him to start door dashing. Not just door dashing, but filming himself door dashing, as if this bare minimum effort deserves some kind of applause. Let's break this down. 3 hours a day. That's his grand comeback. 3 hours of sporadic gig work while his family lives in a motel, his kids lack stability, and his back child support debt looms. That's not a grind. That's a performance. He's not working toward financial independence. He's working just enough to check a box for the courts while still leaving himself plenty of time to game and stream. And let's not ignore the fact that he's not even doing this consistently, just when it's convenient or when he needs to prove something. But the real kicker, his sudden work schedule just happens to conflict with the one day he's legally required to facilitate visitation between Deshawn and his biological mother. Sundays aren't random. They're court-mandated. Yet suddenly, Drew is too busy working to respond to Desiree's messages or make sure his son sees his mom. Convenient, isn't it? This isn't about providing for his family, it's about maintaining control. He spent years dodging responsibility, slowly erasing Desiree from Deshawn's life, and now he's weaponizing employment as a new excuse to keep that pattern going. And then there's the car seat. Oh, the car seat. The same one Stephanie gave birth on, complete with all the mess that entails, and then casually admitted she never properly cleaned. That's the seat Drew is now using to haul around people's food. Sure, the meals are wrapped, but let's not pretend that makes it okay. There's a level of disregard here that's just baffling. Most people would have tossed that seat immediately or at least deep cleaned it beyond recognition. But not these two. Instead, they're out here turning a biohazard into a food delivery prop, all while acting like this is some kind of inspiring hustle. At this point, the pattern is undeniable. Every positive change they make isn't about growth, it's about reacting to outside pressure. The courts crack down, and suddenly, Drew can work. The custody arrangement threatens his control, and suddenly he's too busy to comply. The motel life becomes legally scrutinized, and suddenly Stephanie is desperate for an apartment. None of this is organic. It's all damage control, wrapped in a shiny social media bow to keep the narrative intact. The question isn't whether they'll keep up the act, it's how long they can keep it up before the next crisis hits. Because real change requires consistency, and so far, all they've shown is that they'll do the bare minimum the second someone forces their hand.
Imagine ordering your food and Drew Jenkins delivers it, but you go onto TikTok to find out that he put your order of McDonald's on the same seat that his wife gave birth. Because that's what's happening. If you've missed it, Mr. Drew Jenkins is now door dashing, but he's using his own car to do it, which is not the problem. The problem is when he puts the food that you order and it has the remnants of his wife giving birth. It's really disgusting. If I was you, and you found out that you are the person, because Drew Jenkins is sharing, he's sharing your address. So if you find out that Drew Jenkins is basically who you got your food delivered from, I would definitely cancel it. I would dispute it. I would do whatever I could, because that's gross. Stephanie Jenkins gave birth. And when you give birth, not only does the baby come out, so does the placenta and all the amniotic fluid. So you might be entitled to some compensation.
This isn't just about being nitpicky or exaggerating for effect. It's about basic human decency and common sense. The fact that Drew is out here delivering food in the same car seat that once had birthing fluids on it, and who knows what else since then, is beyond unsanitary. It's a legitimate health hazard. Imagine being the customer who unknowingly gets their dinner handed to them from a vehicle that's essentially a biohazard on wheels. This isn't just EU, that's kind of gross territory. This could actually make someone sick negligence. And the worst part, he knows it's disgusting, yet he still films it, laughs about it, and posts it like it's some quirky, relatable struggle instead of what it really is. A total lack of respect for the people paying him for a service. Then there's the reckless disregard for privacy and safety. Drew isn't just casually documenting his deliveries. He's doxing people without a second thought. filming house numbers, front porches, even entire streets while narrating his drop-offs like it's some kind of vlog adventure. These customers didn't sign up to be part of his content, they just wanted their food delivered, not their homes broadcast to thousands of strangers online. And let's not forget, he's doing all of this while driving on a suspended license. So not only is he violating privacy laws, but he's also breaking traffic laws in the process. Yet instead of keeping a low profile, he's bragging about it, turning his legal troubles into clickbait like it's something to be proud of. And sure, technically he's working now, but let's not pretend this is some grand redemption arc. 3-hour DoorDash shifts are the bare minimum he can get away with to keep the courts off his back. This is the same man who conveniently developed a laundry list of health issues the second child support enforcement came knocking, only to miraculously recover when a judge told him to get a job or face jail time. Funny how those debilitating conditions never stopped him from gaming for hours or filming TikTok rants, but suddenly, when real consequences are on the line, he's well enough to hustle. Just barely. So where does that leave us? Stephanie's suddenly singing a different tune about stability now that custody battles are looming. Drew's finally working, but only because he was backed into a corner. None of this feels like genuine change. It feels like crisis management. The real test isn't whether they can pretend to have their lives together for a few weeks. It's whether they'll keep it up once the legal heat dies down. Because let's be honest, we've seen this cycle before. Stephanie pivots her storyline whenever criticism gets too loud. Drew disappears the second accountability fades. So why should we believe this time is any different? Until they prove otherwise with consistent action, not just performative YouTube confessions or half-hearted gig work, this all just looks like another act in their never-ending internet drama. The question isn't whether they can change, it's whether they actually want to, or if they're just doing what they've always done. Whatever it takes to keep the cameras rolling.
There's a couple of things about this Stephanie Jenkins and Desiree thing. You know, the Brazilian Jenkins versus Desiree and all that. There's a couple things about this situation that just don't sit right with my soul, okay? So y'all saying that Drew's the problem. And all honesty, from everything that's been going on and prolonging and the things that, you know, been happening, I feel like Stephanie's the problem. I feel like Stephanie is bad for Drew. Hear me out. Hear me out, okay? I know y'all gonna be like, what the fuck? Hear me out. Stephanie is not holding him accountable for anything that he's doing. Stephanie is feeding him, silver spooning him, okay? She's basically enabling him to be the deadbeat that he is, okay? So instead of holding him accountable, she just feeds him to it, like somebody that's unsupportive. Like, yeah, girl, you know, you ain't did no wrong. You doing a good thing. You doing this. Instead of being like, oh, no, you need to get your shit together, okay? So let me tell you why she's like that. Because Stephanie's insecure herself, okay? Stephanie don't have her shit together, and everybody knows that. But Stephanie is very much insecure, and she's mentally unstable, clearly. But I don't understand how y'all call her a mastermind. This bitch is stupid. Let me tell you why I think she's stupid, okay? You're basically handing Deshawn right over to Desiree. See, the reason why she's going away and going about it the way that she's going about it is because, like I told y'all before, once Desiree get Deshawn, all of Stephanie's support is gonna go straight over there to Desiree. They're gonna go straight to Desiree and to Arlita. Because most of them are only there on Stephanie's page to see how this shit gonna play out, how this shit's gonna fold. Because she's basically Stephanie is stupid as fuck. Okay, and so is Drew. So is Drew. You allowing a woman to come between you and the relationship between your son. Because I'm going to tell you right now, they're going to hate you when you get older. Y'all can say what you want to say. But Deshawn's going to hate Drew, and it's going to be Stephanie's fault. And see, what really blows me the wrong way is because Stephanie said in our comment, you can't go and do alcohol, you know, drugs and stuff like that and try to, you know, think that you're going to come back and do something. Basically, she called Deshawn her son. She said, that's my son. Bitch, you're not his mother. You're not even his stepmother. I've told you this 101 times. You need to stop trying to overplay your role. Your role is a girlfriend. You are Drew's girlfriend. That's it. That's all. Stop it. Do not ever call nobody else's child your son.
Drop your thoughts in the comments. Do you think this is the start of something real, or just a temporary act? We're watching closely, and we're not putting down the receipts anytime soon. Like and subscribe for more updates. The truth always finds a way out, and we'll be here when it does.